is a fully-fledged Metal Gear Solid game that's been tweaked and tailored for a rich, fun, portable experience. It complements a great-looking stealth action campaign with a strong co-op offering, bite-sized challenge missions, and an overarching resource management system in which you establish a private army and develop your offshore base. It's set after Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and so if you've been following the series' elaborate long-running plot, for which congratulations by the way, you'll have rightly guessed that you're playing as Naked Snake rather than Solid Snake, also known as Big Boss. Peace Walker takes place in the 1970s against a Cold War background of shadowy CIA and KGB interference in Central America. Big Boss and his mercenary startup, the Militaires Sans Frontières, are enlisted to bring peace to Costa Rica, a troubled country with no military of its own, by a young student Paz and her mentor. The plot plays out in animated graphic novel-style snippets. These are stylish, effective, and not overly long, though they can be paused and skipped except for the odd interactive sequence. Bringing peace to Costa Rica amounts to you sneaking and shooting your way through a mix of environments, taking in jungle, and more jungle, as well as military bases, mining villages, and a Mayan temple ruins, and battling tanks and giant mechs at regular intervals. So this is the core of the game. Classic stealth action that's tense, challenging and tightly executed, and that rewards patience and punishes reckless running and gunning, except of course in the odd forced combat section and epic boss fight. Peace Walker encourages a pure stealth experience. Proper strategic stealth approaches are rewarded with heroism points. These are doled out for favouring stealth takedowns or outright evasion over killing enemies, and later help you attract volunteers into the ranks of the Militaires Sans Frontières. Your selection of gadgets and weapons to get the job done grows over time as you unlock the technology and accrue points to acquire them, more on which later. But among our favourite gadgets are the Sonovision of the Sonic Eye and the traditional strategically placed magazine for distracting guards, as well as Love Box portable hiding spots and the Fulton Recovery System, a balloon for extracting knocked out guards and rescued prisoners. Very occasionally, the experience is held back by a slightly awkward control system. The default button layout puts the camera controls and manual aiming on the face buttons, and the menu access and the action and crouch buttons on the direction buttons. Snake's movement, meanwhile, is controlled with the analog nub. It takes some getting used to, especially since the game doesn't pause while you scroll through your inventory. Holding down two buttons, one to open the menu and one to scroll through it, while also steering with your thumb, can be tricky, especially if you're caught out of cover and need to switch weapons in a tricky boss fight. At least there's a generous auto-aim though, which can be toggled on and off and compensates for some of the fiddliness. Snake also gets an offshore facility to house his growing private army, Mother Base, the precursor to Outer Heaven. As if liberating Costa Rica wasn't work enough, the day-to-day running of Mother Base also falls to you. As mentioned, downed enemies can be airlifted away and sent to Mother Base with the Fulton Recovery Balloon. These kidnapped soldiers are surprisingly cooperative, it turns out, and become part of your own private army at Mother Base. Recruits can also be picked up via random volunteers attracted by your growing reputation, that is your heroism score, and by trading with other players and with an entrance exam time trial mission in which you knock out prospective members in hand-to-hand combat. The Mother Base is also your home screen. This array of menus is where you recruit new members and sort them into your staff teams: combat, research, medical, mess hall, and intel. You can also dispatch hand-picked combat squads to far-flung conflicts, all the better to improve their stats while you're away on stealth missions. This resource management side of the game isn't just tacked on, it's more than just a fun diversion. Your research team's level, which grows as you collect more and better recruits, feeds into the weapons technology available for development. The combat team earns the points you need to build those new guns and gadgets. Meanwhile, the medical team operates the sickbay where your wounded are sent to recover over time, and the mess hall keeps morale up. But if you aren't really into spreadsheet-style gameplay, you can let the game auto-assign roles to your new recruits as they arrive. The game's high production values are obvious throughout. The environments look great, though you don't stray far from the initial jungles of Costa Rica. The real graphical spectacle comes less often, though with added impact during the key boss fights against experimental unmanned AIs. These are dramatic and challenging, pattern-based, but never tedious. The sound design and score are likewise both impressive. Early reveals of Peace Walker focused on local co-op play, which is present and correct. It's a neat addition for friends working through the campaign together, though the number of friends who can play together varies. Only 2 players are permitted in the main missions, while 4 players can team up for boss battles, although bringing in 2 more players in the middle of a session might be tricky. But there are plenty of novel kicks with 2-player stealth, not least an automatically synchronized sneaking mode, and 2-man cardboard box tanks to hide and shuffle around in. Cooperative play changes the whole experience because having 2 players opens up new stealth strategies, and some levels are designed with areas accessible by one player, giving the other a leg up. Peace Walker also has no difficulty settings, and so the extra firepower provided by teaming up with other players is helpful in boss battles. There is a versus mode too, with the usual team deathmatches and base defense. The mode supports up to 6 players and is a welcome addition, though it doesn't add as much as co-op play. A game like Peace Walker, basically built around outsmarting AI characters with stealth, doesn't shine quite its brightest in player-on-player combat. Besides the main missions for Snake, there are extra ops. These are short, repeatable side mission challenges playable as Snake or any of your combat staff. They're good for picking up extra points to plough into your weapons and gadgets tech, which you might find you need to do if you come up against a boss you can't take down with your current gear. Each of these missions is just a few minutes long, which makes them perfect for short bursts of play on the move. The longer main mission levels, however, which can connect 4 or 5 discrete stages with no checkpointing, aren't quite so well suited to a bite-sized experience and are best reserved for longer stationary sessions. But with a wide variety of modes and activities, you'll always find something to suit the time you have available to play. Peace Walker has value in spades. Even for an adept player, the main storyline is no weekend job, and the whole experience, trimmings and all, demands replay. The way the game's multiple modes fit together and feed into each other will keep you chipping away, and once you've completed the story, the moorish gameplay and steady rewards of new unlocked goodies will mean you want to fully staff your base and level up your combat teams, not to mention go after the next weapon or gadget upgrade, as well as the code names and insignia awarded for completing achievement-like challenges and trying out different playstyles. As an impressive technical achievement on the PSP, as well as a well-rounded package of mission types, modes and unlockables, Peace Walker is an essential experience that raises the bar for portable games. It combines the ambition and gloss of a full-size console title with plenty of novelties and conveniences to make it a superb handheld experience, along with enough content to do a portable title proud and keep you coming back for more.
Are you alright? Snake? Snake!